Your attention is the single most valuable resource you possess, yet it's the one you give away the easiest. In a world engineered to distract you, the real battle isn't for money or status, it's for your mind. Every app, every notification, every headline is designed to hook you, pull you in, and scatter your focus. And once your focus is gone, your potential is gone with it, because the truth is simple: you cannot build a powerful life with a fragmented mind. If you want to grow, if you want to create, if you want to truly become wealthy in any sense, you must first reclaim your attention. Attention is not just concentration. It's the doorway to your thoughts, your creativity, your energy, and your decisions. Whoever controls your attention controls your life. Most people live in a constant state of mental noise. They wake up and instantly check their phones before they even check in with themselves. They scroll through other people's opinions, problems, wins, losses, and drama. Their mind becomes a dumping ground for everything the world wants them to think about. They consume more than they create, react more than they reflect. Without realizing it, they've outsourced their mind to the world. This is how your greatest asset gets stolen quietly, slowly, and without resistance. If you want to protect your attention, the first step is awareness. Notice what pulls you. Notice what drains you. Notice what leaves you feeling unfocused, anxious, or low energy. Notice the subtle addictions, the reflex to check messages, the habit of scrolling, the need for constant stimulation. These are not harmless. These are leaks in your mental system. Every leak costs you productivity, creativity, and deep thinking is where real wealth begins. Most people underestimate the compounding effect of attention. A focused hour is worth more than 10 distracted ones. A calm mind solves problems in seconds that a stressed mind struggles with for days. A clear mind sees opportunities that others are too overwhelmed to recognize. Attention multiplies everything it touches. It is the root of learning, judgment, insight, intuition, and creativity, the very tools that create long-term success. When you guard your attention, you're not just protecting your focus, you're protecting the engine that drives your entire life. To protect your attention, you must set boundaries. This means limiting your exposure to noise, unnecessary notifications, endless scrolling, negative people, shallow conversations. It means choosing your inputs with intention. Just as you wouldn't put junk fuel in a high-performance engine, you shouldn't feed your mind mental junk. Curate what you consume. Read things that stretch your mind. Watch things that teach you. Listen to people who elevate your thinking. Your attention is too precious to waste on things that don't move you closer to the life you want. Protecting your attention also means learning to be alone with your own thoughts. Most people fear silence because silence reveals the truth about what they want, what they fear, what they avoid, and what they need to change. But silence is the birthplace of clarity. When you sit with your own mind without distraction, you begin to understand yourself. You begin to hear the insights that get drowned out by constant noise. You begin to regain the ability to think deeply rather than react instantly. This is where the competitive advantage lies, in quiet thinking, not frantic action. Another powerful way to protect your attention is by simplifying your life. Complexity is a silent thief. Too many commitments, too many goals, too many obligations, too many inputs, these scatter your mind. The more you subtract, the more powerful you become. Focus is not about doing more, it's about doing less, but doing it with full presence. When your attention is unified, your actions become precise. When your actions are precise, your results become amplified. Ultimately, protecting your attention is an act of self-respect. It means you value your mind enough not to let the world hijack it. It means you understand that everything meaningful learning, creating, building, improving requires uninterrupted focus. It means you choose depth over distraction, quality over noise, intention over impulse. You already have the most powerful wealth-building tool in the world, your mind, but it can only work at its highest level when your attention is free, clear, and deliberate. Guard it fiercely, invest it wisely. Because the person who masters their attention eventually masters their reality. Leverage is what separates people who work endlessly from those who create effortlessly. It's what turns 1 hour of thinking into 10 hours of results. And the most powerful form of leverage you can ever build is learning. Not learning for grades, not learning for certificates, but learning that transforms your mind into a tool that multiplies everything you touch. When you build leverage through learning, you are no longer trading time for outcomes, you are trading understanding for opportunity, and understanding compounds far faster than money ever will. Most people stop learning after school, as if the world stops changing once the diploma is printed. But the world keeps evolving, technology keeps advancing, opportunities keep shifting, and the people who rise are those who keep growing. Learning is not something you finish, it's something you live. It's how you stay relevant in a world that rewards adaptability more than experience. The person who learns faster outpaces the person who works harder, because what you know determines what you can do, and what you can do determines the options available to you. Learning gives you leverage because it improves your judgment. Judgment is the ability to make high-quality decisions, and in a world full of infinite choices, knowing how to choose is priceless. One good decision can change your career, your relationships, your finances, your mindset. One insight can save you years of wasted effort, but good judgment isn't inherited, it's trained. It's built through reading, observing, reflecting, experimenting, and understanding the patterns that govern outcomes. When your judgment improves, your life improves quietly but dramatically. Another way learning becomes leverage is through skills. Skills are the closest thing we have to real superpowers. A skill can turn a hobby into income, an idea into a company, a thought into a product. Skills don't get tired, don't expire, don't disappear when circumstances change. They travel with you wherever you go. Coding, writing, communication, design, problem solving, negotiation, each skill is a tool. And when you collect tools, you become unstoppable. Instead of waiting for opportunities, you build them. Instead of relying on luck, you rely on competence. But the biggest leverage comes from combining skills. A person who knows how to write is valuable. A person who knows how to write and market is rare. A person who knows how to write, market, speak, and think strategically becomes almost impossible to replace. Learning allows you to stack abilities in unique combinations. This stacking creates asymmetry, the ability to produce results that far exceed the effort. This is how individuals become exceptional in a way that competitors can't easily copy. Learning also gives you leverage through ideas. Ideas are seeds that can grow into products, solutions, systems, or improvements. One idea can change the trajectory of your life. But ideas only come to a prepared mind, a mind that reads widely, thinks deeply, explores curiously, and questions fearlessly. Learning fills your mental library, and the more shelves you build, the more connections you can make. Creativity is just the ability to connect stored knowledge in new ways. So the richer your internal library, the more valuable your ideas become. The beauty of learning is that it compounds. What you learn today makes tomorrow's learning faster. Skills combine, knowledge accumulates, mistakes refine you, and insights sharpen your intuition. Over time, the gap between the learner and the non-learner becomes enormous. Two people may start at the same point, but one chooses entertainment while the other chooses education. 10 years later, one is overwhelmed by life, the other shapes life to their design. The difference isn't luck, it's accumulated leverage. Many people think they don't have time to learn, but in truth, they don't have time not to. Every minute spent learning saves hours of trial and error. Every book read saves years of frustration. Every new skill opens doors you didn't even know existed. Learning is the highest return investment available to any human being. It costs little, it compounds forever, and no one can take it from you. But real learning requires humility. You must be willing to admit what you don't know. You must seek truth, not validation. You must prefer being improved over being right. Humility is the gatekeeper of wisdom. Without it, knowledge becomes ego, not leverage. In the end, building leverage through learning means building a mind that can't be cornered by circumstances. Markets can change, economies can shift, industries can collapse, but a person armed with knowledge, skills, and judgment can always rebuild, reinvent, and rise again. You become limitless, not by changing your environment, but by expanding your capabilities. The more you learn, the more the world bends toward your potential. Learning is not just leverage, it is freedom. Think long term and act calmly. Most people treat life like a sprint of urgent tasks, measuring success by immediate feedback and short-term wins. That mindset trains you to be reactive. You amplify noise, chase novelty, and sacrifice depth for speed. Long-term thinking is different. It's the habit of playing the long game so consistently that short-term storms barely move you. It shifts your metric from daily dopamine to durable value. When you think in decades, choices that seem small today, learning a skill, keeping a promise, saving a little stack into massive advantages. The core of long-term thinking is patience, but not passive waiting. It's active patience, steady, deliberate work guided by clear principles and calm judgment. Acting calmly is the behavioral companion to long-term thinking. Calmness is not absence of emotion. It's the skill of not letting emotion hijack your decisions. When markets crash, relationships strain, or plans derail, calm people observe the facts instead of magnifying fear. Calmness enables clarity. Clarity produces better decisions. Better decisions compound. If you want to win the long game, cultivate a temperament that discounts transient noise and focuses on underlying reality. Train yourself to respond rather than react. When your baseline is equanimity, crises become information rather than calamity, and information is the raw material of opportunity. Long-term thinking requires making decisions with optionality and avoiding binary bets that leave you exposed. It favors systems over goals. Goals are useful, but systems, daily habits, routines, relationships, reputation, are what produce results over time. A goal can be achieved and then disappear. A good system sustains and scales. For example, instead of obsessing about a single big project, build a system of small, compounding projects. Ship often, learn from feedback, iterate. This approach creates asymmetry, low downside, high upside. Over time, many small, well-chosen moves outpace a single heroic effort. Another aspect is preserving optionality. Long-term thinkers avoid burning bridges and maintain relationships, networks, and credibility. Reputation is a long-lived asset you build slowly and can squander instantly. Be the kind of person who honors commitments, speaks truth, and acts with integrity. Those behaviors open doors years later in ways you cannot predict. Similarly, invest in assets that can grow without constant time input, equity, intellectual property, scalable skills. Leverage is built when your future self inherits systems, relationships, and skills that pay dividends while you're focused on the next thing. Compounding is the magic engine of long-term thinking. The same forces that erode results quickly: distraction, poor judgment, bad habits amplify small mistakes into large failures. Conversely, disciplined habits compound quietly into extraordinary outcomes. 1 hour a day of focused work becomes thousands of hours in a few years. One consistent habit of saving or investing becomes financial freedom over decades. The temptation is to trade compounding for immediate payoff. Resist it. When you honor the slow accumulation of value, you harness time itself as an ally. Acting calmly also means preparing for volatility. You don't eliminate risk, you manage it. Have margin, financial, emotional, and temporal. Margin gives you the freedom to make rational decisions under pressure instead of desperate ones. It allows you to pivot, experiment, and recover from setbacks. Margin is boring but powerful. It's the buffer that lets long Long-term plans survive the inevitable short-term shocks. Embrace the discipline of delayed gratification without moralizing it. The aim is not to suffer for the future, but to design a life where present satisfaction and future gain are aligned. Choose work that produces both immediate meaning and long-term optionality. Build rituals that make sustained effort painless. The objective is to create systems where calm, steady action becomes the easiest path. Finally, long-term thinking requires humility about what you can control and courage about what you will pursue. Control your circle, your habits, your reactions, your inputs. Release what you cannot influence. This frees energy for the things that compound. Courage is choosing a few important bets and sticking to them through noise and doubt. It's not stubbornness, it's conviction informed by feedback, tempered by flexibility. Reevaluate, but don't oscillate. Consistency over time creates the kind of exponential outcomes that people mistake for luck. If you want a life that scales, start with your mind. Train it to see time as an ally, not an enemy. Build systems that compound, preserve optionality, and give you margin. Practice calm so that when storms come, you respond with reason. The long-term life is not glamorous in daily detail, but its results are real and often irreversible. Think beyond the quarter. Act beyond the impulse. Over years, these modest choices add up to a life few imagine and many admire.